The kinetics is actually it's a way to look at, I would say, adding an extra understanding of how protein, fiber, and starch are digested when they are eaten by the animals. So, and kinetics really look at the rate at which that digestion is happening.
Hello, and welcome to our latest edition of Swine Podcast. I'm Jerry Purvis, your host. Today we have a special guest, Francis Simard. Francis is a Monogastric manager for Trouw Nutrition in Eastern Canada. Francis, glad to have you on the show today.
Hi, Jerry. Thanks for having me.
And while you, so maybe take a few minutes, just tell a little bit about yourself and how you got to where we are today.
Yeah, thanks, Jerry, for the opportunity. I think our journey in swine started 25 years ago when I graduated, and did a lot of things in swine. So started sales and moved to nutrition as a general, and then focused more on the piglets for some years, and also sows, and integrated some research activities as well. And now I'm still in swine, but I've integrated some of the poultry activities in my area, so that I needed an extra challenge, I guess.
Very good, and you know it's interesting now. You're into pigs and birds, so you see a lot of similarities as you dived into the feathers.
Yeah, I think there are similarities. I think for a growing animal is a growing animal, so we're trying to improve average daily gain and feed efficiency and reduce costs. So I see those broilers, I would say, somewhat similar to what piglets are or could be in the way that they developed after weaning or after hatch for birds. And on the other hand, we're also dealing with breeders, which are reproductive animals, and producing chicks, and we have sows. So I think you get ideas from both sides of the fence, and it has helped me at the end of the day. I think it helped me to get better as a nutritionist and open up a little bit to ideas that otherwise I would have probably never thought.
Well, Francis, I'm really interested in our topic today, nutrient kinetics, and I think this is a novel idea, and I think this work here is gonna be is very pertinent to today and to economics, but also in our health and how we improve the health of our animals. So I guess let's just jump right in, and maybe as our audience kind of define what is nutrient kinetics and how that's changed the way you look at ingredients.
The kinetics is actually it's a way to look at, I would say, adding an extra understanding of how protein, fiber, and starch are digested when they are eaten by the animals. So and kinetics really look at the rate at which that digestion is happening. So there is a published in vitro assay that we can use. It's really related to how it's happening in the animal. So you can define then protein in three types of, I would say, kinetics. You have fast, slow, and resistant. Same for fiber and for starch. And now I would say you're adding an extra set of nutrients to define your soybean, to define your barley, your wheat, and your DDGs, because you're not only considering your, I would say, standard conventional nutrients. We're going further to see how these nutrients are actually digested and absorbed by the animals, and how this can influence the performance of either piglets or sows.
Yeah, very good. So
Trouw Nutrition North America. Everything we do is driven by passion and backed by science. We support producers in accelerating their journey towards sustainable food production by understanding their challenges and bringing tangible solutions. Trouw Nutrition gives our clients access to extensive knowledge, expertise, and resources. Our team of trained advisors is proud to offer on-farm services backed by global research and industry-leading innovation. We go beyond feed. We are dedicated to supporting success together.
As you add this layer of understanding, how does it impact how you formulate or how you look at diets for what you're trying to accomplish?
So I would say the first thing that it brought is, I would say, it really changed the way we were looking at ingredients. And we actually had to put away some boundaries on ingredients and really open up the field to other ingredients that otherwise we would have probably never considered. And also help us understand why this or this ingredient is giving us a good performance or a bad performance, because now you understand that, you have more fast protein, or you have more resistant protein, or you have more fermentable fiber or resistant fiber or more fast fiber. So I think it helped us understand, and what we also wanted is to really focus on the nutrients and less on the ingredient boundaries. So with that, you really reducing the number of ingredient boundaries and really focus on the nutrients and on the supply of nutrients to the animal.
Yeah, it seems like if you open up boundaries, maybe you could decrease costs as you more utilize cheaper sources.
Yeah, I think yes. I think and what's interesting now is by using that, if you define your kinetics in many ingredients, then in every region you can get advantage of the ingredients that you have in hand, which normally local ingredients are more affordable. So you can get advantage of those ingredients, which is interesting, because whether you are in Canada, in the US, or in Spain, then you can use nutrient kinetics and use the ingredients that are available, because you have a good understanding on the type of protein and the type of fiber you can work with.
So just kind of diving in a little bit, as you characterize them as fast, slow, and resistant. How does that impact the animal, and how does that change, how that animal digests that or utilizes that diet, or maybe even the health? How does that, could that be impacting the health?
When we first started with Kinetics, it was really on the piglets, because we do have different challenges. Trouw is a global company that deals with different regulation, namely on zinc, and also on protein, on medication use. So sometimes you want to push performance, and sometimes you want to control scour. So is there a way to better formulate diets in order to try to, I would say, push in directions that you want as a company or as a producer? So when we defined kinetics for piglets, we looked first at protein, and we discovered that by increasing fast protein, we were really, I would say, encouraging performance and muscle deposition. So we were able to improve performance. On the other hand, if you look at your resistant protein, we know that if you have more undigested protein that reaches the hindgut, then the pathogenic bacteria, I would say, can get a hold of that and develop and then create diarrhea issue. So by setting boundaries on fast protein and also resistant protein, you can really work either on performance as well as diarrhea. So we have boundaries on those, and then it helps. Also, we've added fiber, because resistant fibers, really, or insoluble fiber, they will change the transit time. So the time that it takes to really go from one end to the end of your digestive system, and there are literature that demonstrate if that time increases, then you're more likely to have pathogenic development. So if you have resistant fiber, then you reduce that transit time, and you reduce scour. So we did many trials around that, and we were able to find nutrient kinetics boundaries that were helping performance by increasing fast protein, by increasing soluble fiber. And we were also able to find another set of nutrients that was controlling the occurrence of scour. So even in low-zinc situation, we're able to really have really good control over scour. So it really helped us develop our diets on two ways: performance as well as scour. And you were mentioning cost earlier, and with the ingredient that we have in hand, we were able to, I would say, add to our diets interesting or cost-effective ingredient in order to reduce the cost of our diets, because we actually use ingredient that I never used in my first 15, 20 years of this. And I would have probably never used, but working with the researchers, we should push this, we should push that. Okay, so let's give it a try. And at the end, it works. So it really opened up our eyes. So right now, we're able to really to fine tune our diet based on, I would say, performance and cost, and also gut health. If you're dealing with, I would say, high E. coli pressure, or you're dealing with, I would say, a low zinc or low medication regulation.
Yeah, that's interesting. So now you're looking at more of feeding to that animals toward that health, more so than just trying to load up a bunch of nutrients and then hoping that without having a lot of that protein actually ended up in the hindgut and proliferating more pathogens.
And actually it allowed us to understand better why sometimes formulation work and some do not. And when you look at energy and amino acids, sometimes it was difficult to understand. When you go deeper with nutrient kinetics, and then you understand what probably happened and why it really worked and why it did not. So I think you're adding an extra, let's say, layer of understanding on how protein are different from one to another, and same for fiber.
So really, what you're doing, you're adding another. You're allowing some of these sources, maybe the boundaries, to be expanded, and maybe actually bringing in, maybe ingredients that we thought were not, were inferior, and been able to utilize those. But you're just adding this on top of what your formulation package, what you're already doing.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yes, actually, it did not change. I would say our lysine level, energy level, and I think it's just adding to your current knowledge when you do that. So you're keeping your I would say your targets, but you're adding that so that the ingredient you use to get to your energy level or to get to your lysine level, they change.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and it really allow us to get advantage of ingredients that otherwise we would have never considered. And there is the other thing is we're also looking at ways to work in a low zinc environment. It's now in place, and in Europe, in Canada, we have now it's official. We have a 3 years transition. Well, we have to find solutions. So, and that is part of the solution package.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's been a lot of work there trying. It's going to happen here in the U.S. probably at some point, but we'll follow suit. But zinc is such a good product. But it's interesting to have looking at things a little differently. How we can maybe achieve, as we know, zinc is not real positive toward pH in the gut in the stomach. So it would be an advantage if we could get a lot of that zinc out of the diets. But
yeah, I think zinc, when you look at it, has been really, really powerful at the control scour in the last 30 some years. But on the other hand, when you look at how zinc interferes with, I would say, acidification of the stomach and the buffering capacity of the stomach, we're talking now about ABC4 a little bit more. We've worked on it also, and zinc is probably one of the worst ingredient if you want to lower down your ABC4 and I would say get the advantage of that stomach function and stomach acidification function. So when you get rid of the zinc, then you get in an environment when you can really rely on the acidification, and you can lower your buffering capacity and really let the stomach do its job of acidifying and protecting also your hindgut by breaking down the pH and actually killing bacteria or gram-negative bacteria that would like to go down the hindgut. So I think that's also an interesting technology that, of course, will add on top of nutrient kinetics. So it's at the end of the day, I think we're getting close to really be in really good shape to work well in low zinc, and we may be surprised of how pigs will perform, because zinc also some interference with other minerals when it reaches the hindgut. So knowing all that
interferes with our phytase. I mean, with our phytase.
Oh yeah, with phytase, phytate does bind zinc, and if we get rid of phytate, then zinc is even more available, and you have even more zinc than you think you have, and especially with the third generation phytate we have in hand right now, they're really efficient at I would say getting rid of this IP6 and even IP3 phosphate. So yeah, I think it's there's nice future ahead of us with. In low zinc situation, I think it's going to be very interesting to see how pigs perform.
Well, Francis, we kind of talked about the early wean pig, and how that advantages how this looking at the kinetics might work. What about the sows, gestating and lactating sows? Where do you see some advantages there?
Yeah, I think that's a good question, Jerry, because when we discovered what was the advantage with the piglets, we'd say, hey, there's another high-performing animals that we're constantly trying to help either produce more milk, having higher piglets born alive, or lose less weight. So we looked at it, and of course we're dealing with the mature animals, so not a young and growing animal. So I would say a digestive tract that does work differently. So what we did is we looked back at 20 years of research, around 20 some trials. And, when you do trials, sometimes it works, it doesn't work, and you don't always understand why. So when we look at the results, we were able to see that when we were increasing slow protein in our diets, we were seeing better performance in terms of milk production, as well as body loss. So we took that and we conducted some research, and we really saw that when you're increasing your slow protein as part of your total, let's say you have 18% protein, and you go from 8 to 16% of that protein being slow. We saw that there is an improvement in milk production and also in efficiency and protein efficiency. So your nitrogen efficiency increase and your sow is losing less weight. And when you look at the blood markers, we realize that by increasing slow protein, we're able to maintain a more constant supply of amino acid in the bloodstream. And at the same time, the urea level were reduced. So when you reduce urea, it's because you have less deamination. And you have less deamination, it means that there's more amino acid used for, in the case of a lactating sow, for milk production. So we know that the sow, I'd say, produces milk constantly. She milks her piglets every hour or so. She will eat at different times during the day, but there are still periods during the day that when she's not eating. So there's hours. So and this in those hours, there's still milk being produced. So by increasing slow protein, we're able really to improve that amino acid supply. So it's not a question of a quantity. I think it was a question more of synchronicity, so aligning supply with requirements, and this is making a difference on the production. So milk production is increasing. So we're having increased wean weights on the piglets, and since the sow has, I would say, more amino acid, she doesn't have to use her body reserves in order to get those amino acids to produce milk. And then at the end, you have less weight loss, which is beneficial normally, in some cases, for the next litter.
So I was just thinking too, I'm kind of focused on, it's real important that parturition period, being able to, as we have these prolific litters now, and it just takes a long time. And we know the disadvantages is that, parturition period gets, longer. Do you think that's another, an avenue for looking at a slower release of nutrients for that animal?
During parturition, yeah, it's something that we're looking at. I think, what we do know with our research is if you're able to reduce that parturition time, then you have, if you measure your lactate, for example, in your piglets, they will be lower. The oxygen level will be higher, and then you will have less stillborn and less pre-weaning mortality. So the sow is going into, I would say, I call it like a marathon. The parturition is 2, 3, 4 hours. So it needs a lot of energy. So I think, and we know now that the time between her last meal and parturition has an impact on that, I would say, farrowing duration. So the closer it is, then she has more energy, so more supply of energy, so starch and also amino acid in the blood in order to have all that nutrients that needed for parturition. So will Nutrient Kinetics, I would say, add an extra level of comprehension about how we can reduce and make sure that the sow has all the nutrients that she needs all the way through from the first hour to the third hour. Maybe we don't know. We don't know yet, but it's certainly a topic of interest.
And I'll shift it a little bit. We're about to run out of time, but gestating sow, we're feeding way below their voluntary intake level that they really feel comfortable eating. But what do you see some benefits with the knowledge of kinetics and animal behavior, animal welfare, and just the satiety of that gestating sow?
But I think probably the type of fiber. We know now that we have not all the fibers are the same, and you have some resistant fiber, you have some more fermentable fibers. So in terms of society and welfare, then for sure we know more about what type of fiber. But the other thing is on fiber is there's a cost to that. So you on the other hand, you deal with the type of fiber that's available in your area. So that's the other thing. But I think in terms of nutrient supply, however, the type of fiber probably affects the supply of energy and also the microflora. So I think that is something that probably needs to be worked on, because we're maybe underestimating the energy that we're giving the animal, or overestimating it. Some depending on the fiber. Let's say you work with barley, you work with wheat shorts, you work with oat hulls, soy hulls. They all have different fermentability. And yes, you can work with sow net energy, for example, and take advantage of that fiber level. But I don't think it's as precise as the type of fiber and the fermentability. So I think moving forward, that can make a difference. And when you do know that, then you can probably have a better control over the weight gain of those sows. So I think the sows that we deal with now have a low back fat, so much lower than it was 20 years ago, and the quality of control you need to have on body condition in order for those sows to farrow and to milk is really important. So I would say your buffer is really smaller than it was. So you have to control the amount, but I think having a better understanding on how kinetics, fermentability, as well as amino acid supply, it will probably lead us to, I would say, an improved precision on nutrients we're really delivering to the animal.
Yeah, I think that's important point. Precision. It's going to have more precision, and as you said, these animals today we don't have the margins of error as maybe we had, in earlier genetics, and so they work very well. It's kind of like a race car. They work well, but they got to have the right fuel and all that's got to be set up right. So there's a lot of good applications for.
Yeah, and in gestation, we're feeding them once a day.
Yeah,
and we have a growing litter in the animal. So, could there be a synchronicity effect? I don't know. I think there's still works that needs to be done, but I think it's certainly an interesting topic to address.
Yeah, I think a lot of this work could lead to an improvement in a lot of things. As you said, stillborns, pre-weaning mortality, sow mortality, keeping the animals in the herd. Very, very well could be something we're missing there, and could help with that.
Yeah. Of course, we deal with higher mortality. This is a topic of discussion in North America right now. So, and a lot of that relates to how we treat our gilts and how we feed them. So, precision feeding in many ways, in terms of better understanding of their requirements, let's say per parity, or and also better understanding the nutrients that are really delivered by the ingredients will certainly help us improve the precision of our feeding program, and then probably help controlling mortality and improve performance, because at the end we want to get advantage of that genetic potential that is improving year after year. And I think and to get advantage, we need to, I would say, keep our eyes open, because the animals are changing always. So you can't keep doing what you've been doing. And this questioning has to probably happen every 3, 4, 5 years as generation and types of animals change. And of course, I think that more precision on nutrient delivery, as well as estimation of animal needs, will get us there.
Definitely a lot of job security in this area. There's a lot more gaps, more we don't know than we do know. It seems like
that's what we discover. And when you do research, you discover then there's a lot of things that I still don't know.
Yeah,
the more you go.
Well, Francis, run out of time here, but we always got 3 questions we like to ask all our guests.
It's time for our famous 3. Meet AccuFast, your trusted partner in raising efficient, healthy, and sustainable pork. We're not just about genetics, we're about tailored solutions that set you on your path to success, no matter how you define it. At AccuFast, we channel our investments into 3 crucial pillars: our genetic offering, proprietary technology platform, and leading commercial measurement system, ensuring tangible results for our partners. Visit our website at AccuFastSwine.com or reach out to an AccuFast customer success rep to discuss how we can help you create the future you've been working towards. AccuFast, the best way to predict the future is to create it.
First one is your favorite resource. What's your most favorite resource?
I would say my favorite resource is my network.
Yes.
So after 25 years, I think, and I really want, and this is one thing one of my mentor told me when I started, cultivate your network. So there's good research being done everywhere around the world on different topics. So trying to connect with these knowledgeable person has really helped me. So when I do have questions, I can connect with them. I can read their research. So that has been really helpful, in being open-minded and always interested to new, I would say, technology, new innovation and ideas that are being developed.
You can't replace that, being able to call an expert, in on the phone and get a question answered in just a couple minutes. And knowing those people, just that network. 100% agree.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so who would, thinking back on your career, who was probably the most influential person on your career? And
I think the most influential person was the person who really hired me first at Trouw Nutrition. His name is Michel Vignola. Is retired now, but I would say he was with the company for many, many years, and he really helped me. I would say opening up my I would say my boundaries and on all the topics, and also looking at not only on nutrition. We may be nutritionists, but we have to look at all that can influence performance, and that is important. So as nutritionists, you also have to manage or be able to understand reproduction, management, a little bit of health, going to the feed mill, understand the role of particle size, of durability. So to have a holistic view of the production in order to find the solutions, because the solutions are not always in nutrition. So that he is really, I would say, until the end of his career, is really pushed hard on, be sure to have that holistic view of the production, and you will find that the problems and the solutions are sometimes and often not where you think they are.
That's right. Yeah. 100% agree too. It's we've got to know. We've got to have a complete. We got to know a little something about a lot of things. I always tell people you got to know a little something about everything, but not a heck of a lot about anything. Sometimes but feel like it, but definitely for sure. Because sometimes our problem, the solution to our problem is not nutrition. It's somewhere in husbandry or the feed mill or somewhere.
Yeah, it's there. And the other thing is that he really focused on it. It really helped me is to always ask for numbers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because without numbers, you can say anything.
You can have opinion. Yeah.
You can have opinions, but show me the numbers.
Yeah.
Show me the numbers, and then I can really understand what's going on, and I can help you. Without numbers, you can tell me everything, and probably I can give you hundreds of solutions.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so numbers are really important. So be sure that you collect data, you analyze data, and you really make suggestion and work on that effect base.
Yeah. I always had to say it. I said, "In God we trust, but the rest of us bring data."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And last question, Francis, what are some characteristics of successful people like yourself in our industry? Let's just say nutritionists. What are some of you think the good characteristics of successful?
Try to have multiple interests around your production. Keep yourself informed. So go out there, go to the conference, get a network, and on the other hand, go out of your office, go on the farm. So you have to balance out, to me, what's happening in the farm and what's happening in research. So if you want to be successful in swine nutrition and really be really be there to help what's the producers are doing, you have to balance things. And then you're going to bring solutions that matter to productions, and they're going to make a difference to them. So I think that is really, when I see successful people, they are the people who can relate, or can bring together research and production.
Yeah, I think that's true. We all have programs that look good on paper, and sometimes when we get out there on the farm and we find out, hey, they're not necessarily, there's a disconnect there, and and maybe it's a communication. They don't understand what we're asking them to do, and we talk to them. Sometimes we learn, a better way of doing this, or maybe we need to rethink how we're doing something.
Absolutely, because sometimes they by observation they do things.
Yeah, they do something 100 times a day, and they pretty much they pick up on.
Yeah, sometimes they bring you to another place. Yeah, and we may be formulating to 3 decimal points. Sometimes it doesn't make a difference if I would say things around it. If it doesn't reach the animal,
that's right.
If it doesn't get to the animal, then
what good is it? Yeah,
the formulation that's no value. So I think it's really what, to me, makes a difference, and makes the people in the swine industry and in the nutrition industry successful.
Very good. Well, Francis, I appreciate your time today and coming on our program. And this is an awesome topic. You spurred my interest in looking into this further, but I see a lot of potential with this new way of evaluating and looking at our formulation.
Well, I think there's more to come to that, the application. I think every animals, every I would say type of animal is different. So we have to think about how Kinetics can help. But yes, I think there will be more information on how Kinetics can help in other aspects of production. So stay tuned.
Very good. Well, again, appreciate it, Francis, and hope to see you soon.
All right, Jerry. Thank you.
Thank you.